What changes, if any, do you see in the role of mayor if elected?
Well, in the role itself, there really are no changes that need to be made. It's the execution of that role that needs to be changed. Our current mayor happens to live directly across the street from me, and he was the first person that welcomed me to town, and I still see him several days a week and stop and say hi and ask how the grandkids are doing, and on a personal basis, we get along just fine. But over the time that I've been in the city, you can see that his interest level and his ability to commit to this job has waned. And I don't hold him responsible for that. He's done a great job, and he was actually a mayor pro tem who kind of got roped into being mayor in the first place, and he did it out of a commitment and a feeling of responsibility to the city, and I think that's a very commendable situation. The downside is he has only come into the office one day a week. He generally works on Wednesdays, and in my experience as a manager in the places I've worked, you just can't expect a staff to work with a one-day-a-week manager. I mean, that's just not a realistic way to work for the staff or for the manager. The manager loses touch with what's going on, and the staff has no one to fall back on when they need help or when they need more resources or when they have questions that need to be answered. And so things can tend to drag out, go astray, and just kind of fall apart. So in answer to the question, I think my challenge would be to actually more fully fulfill the role of a strong mayor government situation.
Thank you, Mr. Arthurs.
Mayor Payton has served this city for, I believe, over 12 years. And he's been a pastor, he's worked full-time for the county. He's endorsed my campaign, you'll see that in the voters pamphlet. I have spent a lot of time with him as well. And I appreciate everything that gentleman has offered to me in the way of his wisdom. Now, is he tired? Yes. And is he wanting to retire? Yes. And why shouldn't he? He's done his duty. And as you see, I'm up here after only living here for a couple of years. Why? Because so many people in this small of a community have served this community over and over and over again in so many capacities. They've been on the planning commission, they've been on the city council, or they've served as mayor, or they've been volunteer firemen. It's incredible the number of volunteers that we do have. But when you look at what's happened with Gorge Days, we bring in 2,500 people in one weekend, and there's a handful of people that do that. I think as mayor, yes, it's got to be a little bit stronger as far as maintaining the council and the order of the meetings, but it also requires the council to behave themselves too.
I would concur with some of what Jerry said. There are people in this community, and a number of people in this community that give of themselves all the time. I've been involved with some of the goings-on with Gorge Days. We were asked a couple years ago if we could put together a disc golf tournament, and with the help of Eric Anderson and Dustin Hobbs, two residents of town here, we were able to expand our golf course from 9 holes to 18. We've put on 2 disc golf tournaments two years in a row now, and have brought in people not just to tournaments, but you see people coming in from all over to play our course all the time now.
What do you feel is the biggest issue currently facing North Bonneville?
Back to the wastewater treatment plant. That to me is the biggest issue. It's going to cost us a lot of money, and we've got to get it done. As my opponent pointed out, the cost for maintenance and the cost for having our people break out in the middle of the night because of warnings and signals that have gone off is going up. It's going up because the system is worn out. And that is not untrue of our water system either. They're both around 32 years old. Things expire after a certain period of time. But the wastewater treatment plant is definitely in more harm's way than the water system. And Other than that, to me, the next thing that needs to be fixed is the behavior in the city council. That has been abhorrent, to the point of embarrassment throughout this county. And a mayor can gavel somebody, he can ask somebody to leave. If they don't, what do you do next? Right now, we don't even have a police officer to come and remove the person. So, I think that that is a real big thing, and to have civil, orderly meetings that aren't interrupted by the audience after the public comment time is done is extremely important.
Excuse me. Well, I guess, you know, I think we're all in agreement that the sewer, in terms of number one situation, probably is the biggest thing, but another way to look at the overall situation is, as I had talked before, the ability for the city council to have the information that they need to make sound decisions and figure out ways to help move the situation forward is equally important, because nothing will be resolved if the three branches of the government are not allowed to work together, as James Madison and his pals all designed this stuff quite some time ago. I would like to quickly respond to the allegation of council issues. The city council meetings, as we all know, are very uncomfortable for everybody to attend. The council members, the members of the public, the city staff. I don't think anybody really has too good a time at most of those. I will say the last meeting of last month, I, Mayor Pro Tem, was in charge of that meeting as the mayor was out of town, and I gave a real brief overview of how things were going to go after the Pledge of Allegiance was said, and it was without a doubt the most civil and easygoing meeting that I've attended in my 2.5 years on council. And there's absolutely no reason that every meeting can't go that way. It just takes a mayor who is willing to work for the people.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about not having clear and easy transparency. I know that at least a couple of the council people who continually, the only way I can describe it is harangue the clerk treasurer for more and more information, is it's almost a personal attack. And they've been invited to go in to her office any number of times.